I want someone to go on my website, not have to scroll through which are the good and which are the bad, just places that I personally recommend.
Λοιπόν, γεια σας παιδιά, ακόμα ένα επεισόδιο, είναι Ιδιαίτερος Τύπος. Για όσους μας βλέπουν πρώτη φορά, το podcast έχει να κάνει με ιδιαίτερες ιστορίες και με κόσμο που ασχολείται με διάφορα πράγματα και κάνει πράγματα και μπορεί να είναι στην Κύπρο, μπορεί να είναι στο εξωτερικό. Σήμερα το επεισόδιο είναι στα αγγλικά, όπως και άλλα επεισόδια θα μας πείτε στα αγγλικά. So bear with me με τα παστά αγγλικά που έχω. Ο καλεσμένος έχει καλύτερα. Λοιπόν, 4, 2, 3, 1, πάμε. Ιδιαίτερος τύπος, νούμερο 56. Evyenia, exploring flavors. Έτσι να το πω, θα πω κάτι άλλο.
Hi, I like it. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, and thanks for inviting me to do this. I'm excited to see where it goes because, like, my brain's been pretty fried recently because I had a baby as well. So I've been exploring babies, not just flavors, which is something new.
Is your baby at the point that you can eat real food, or is it only
No. It's just breastfeeding. So it's 4 months old today, actually, exactly 4 months. So yeah, it's been challenging, like with the website as well, and like creating things. But I like it because it's been challenging me to kind of balance everything and create new ideas and recipes as well at the same time. Because I'm thinking ahead, like, you know, what to create and cook for when she gets older, and what kind of things I can do with the baby to interact, and how to make it more a different audience. You know, my audience was different before. I think now I can expand a little bit with what I'm doing. Yeah, not just baby food, but like maybe it could be baby friendly restaurants, just different environments. But also I've got a couple of projects lining up soon, which is really interesting, and it's to kind of shed light on mothers as like easy way of like cooking up meals and that are less hassle. So yeah, I've got some interesting things up my sleeve soon, so I'm excited.
Before we go to that, let's start from the basics. So Evyenia, you're the I don't want to say owner.
Yeah, the owner.
Of your website. Your website is called exploringflavors.com. I've seen that you have recipes in there, but you also have other stuff too, like restaurants and your experience to going into places and tasting things. So what's up with the website? What can someone find on your website?
Okay, so the reason why, I mean, it all started from, at first I had a love for cooking, and it stems from a family history because my grandfather was a chef in the 50s in the UK, actually Cypriot in London, and my mom being the eldest and had to sort of cook for her family, and from an early age, from 8 years old, she learned how to cook really well, and she also did Le Cordon Bleu courses. So she's had culinary training, and she did some catering here and there. And I just always, I loved cooking and I loved experimenting, but it wasn't until, I would say, maybe 8 years ago that I tried to kind of, because of health reasons, that I started going into more like gluten-free, exploring that more. I won't go into the nitty-gritty details of like health issues or anything, but it was a way for me to explore different flavors. That's how I saw it, you know, and not make things bland, because everything I would look up would be bland flavors and, you know, bland recipes. And I was like, why can't I have macaroni de forno, you know, or moussaka and have it gluten free? And why are we restricted? And so the more I would research, the more I would find that there's a lot of you know, creations options out there. And so and because I started to cook and make things and post photos, so people would say to me like, oh, you should please, can you send me your recipe? Can you send me the recipe? And I think because I started going on a gluten-free diet from 2013. It was May 2013, and so there weren't any gluten-free blogs out there, and the scene was very small, and so I had a lot of people asking me, and this is before like Facebook was even, you know, with you know, so loud with when it comes to social media platforms that I see now on Instagram have pages on Facebook. So this was just like random friends, or I think I started to take it more seriously when I saw that people I didn't even know who were friends would say, hi, you don't know me, but I heard that you do really good so-and-so dish, gluten-free, can I have the recipe? And people would say it would be easier if you just had a platform, you know. And also people would come to me because I'm a big foodie. I mean, if you exclude last year, because last year I was a bit of a hermit when I was pregnant, and with COVID, I was more home, so I wasn't able to go to restaurants. But people would ask me, and they still do, where do you recommend I go? Or I would, very often, I would say quite a few times a month, even now, I get messages where people will say, I have, you know, my anniversary's coming up with my husband and I want to know where I can go, and they say you're the best to ask. I'm like, okay, and I give people options, and that's where I got the idea about why not do also restaurant reviews, but not in the same traditional approach that people do, because regular food critics, they go to restaurants and they write the good, they write the bad, and I thought, you know, I just want to go to places and I want someone to go on my website, not have to scroll through which are the good and which are the bad, just places that I personally recommend. You know, whatever I write is an honest opinion. So if I don't like something, I'm just not going to write it. I'm not going to write about it on my website. I just didn't want to have that negativity on the website. I think that's just who I am as a person. I just didn't want that. And yeah, so I wanted someone to be able to, you know, go on the website. You don't have to follow a gluten-free diet to do this. Just, I've had a lot of people who just log onto the website and they just scroll through and they see, okay, I trust her opinion. But I think it's also because I have a passion for writing and I do go into detail explaining things. But for me, I get a lot more happiness in shedding light on local small businesses in Cyprus. And I think that's important. It's really important to just support one another. You know, this is a difficult time, you know, and I didn't want people to, you know, we live in a very greedy world, and I just want to just support people. And yeah, I don't, you know, I want to just support people in their businesses. And if I really, really enjoy and I love what they're doing, I will emphasize that. And there's a lot of like organic brands or just local brands that I support, small businesses. And
I want to, I've read a few of your articles, and
thank you.
And it's not your regular critics blog that you would expect that this gets 3 stars and this gets 5 stars, star system, or 1 from 10. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
What we had, very good pictures.
Thank you. I really zoom in, huh?
And the whole experience of what was the experience about, not just I ate this and I liked it, and I ate that and I liked it. So it's well written. And I think it's what someone who owns a business, food in the food business, likes to create an experience. So you're having this and this and this and this, and I want you to create these feelings to you. It's not just to feed your hunger.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why my posts are more about a journey rather than just going there and, attacking and criticizing. Yeah, so, and I try to not make them like really long posts so that, people, when they're scrolling on their phone, you have to remember that people these days, they don't log onto the computer. So I wanted something that's more mobile friendly. And it's the same thing with the recipes that I have. Actually, I've got a feature on my website, which not a lot of people know, but you can actually use it like a notepad. Like when you open up a certain recipe, it has the list of ingredients, but you can actually click on it so it crosses it out once you've. So when you're cooking something, you can actually, okay, I did the eggs, and you click on it and it kind of crosses it out. So it's like a little notepad that you scratch out. But yeah, so I wanted it to be more user-friendly in all aspects. And I'm looking forward to where it will take off, because there's a lot of new things, not just food, that I want to get into. I mean, food is the main focus, but it's more, that's why I picked exploring flavors, because that could be interpreted broadly. Flavors could be, you could, you can interpret that quite wide, in a sense that not just taste wise, it could be different type of flavor, and could be different senses used. So I'm leaving that up to the reader to explore slowly.
You talk about your own recipes, and are they all gluten-free?
They are all 100% gluten-free, all the recipes.
So where can someone find gluten? I mean, in what ingredients is gluten in there? I guess bread,
pasta, so many things.
There's somewhere that you wouldn't realize that there's gluten in it?
Yeah, definitely. Mainly in sauces as well, like gravies and stocks that you don't know and people don't know. But there's a lot of different things. I'm in the kitchen actually right now, looking to see what could be. Even like just like even like chicken stock and stuff, like the smallest things. But it depends on if you're celiac or gluten intolerant, to what extent it affects you. So I try to make that's the reason why I didn't want my website screaming gluten-free, So when you go on the website, you don't really realize, if you notice, you don't, until you go to the About Me page. And also I discreetly, in my title, in my domain name, which is Exploring Flavors, it's not Evyenia gluten-free. And if you see the GF, I purposely picked two words that ended in G and started with F, so that it's
right now. You're right there.
I purposely did that so that it was a discreet way, because I want to attract all readers, onto the website. Because I think if people, a lot of people, they get put off when they hear gluten-free, fellow gluten-free, so I wanted something that everyone can read, and when they scroll to the end, they're like, oh, I just realized, they eat the food. How many times I feed people stuff and then they're like, this is so good. I'm like, so this is that's the wow factor that I wanted to get at the end, and that's the same thing I wanted with the website, that you can't really, it is for people who want to target that, but it's also for anyone who, you don't have to have an issue with or intolerances. You can just, if you like the recipe, go ahead, and you can switch it up if you want to use regular stuff. So
I've seen a recipe about the cauliflower pizza.
And
I thought that was for vegan purposes. Then I saw the cheese in it.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. People think that, like, oh, if you're gluten-free, you're going to go vegan and you're going to go into the bland. No. I like my cheese. I like my, I wanted to, because I know what you mean, because a lot of the websites that I look at, and they say, if they have one element, like, oh, it's a cauliflower pizza, people think it's going to be a vegan pizza. But that's why I wanted to kind of make it different. But that was interesting to do. That was actually quite fun, experimenting with that.
It's quite nice. I tasted it before, a cauliflower pizza, and it's quite nice. You can't realize it unless someone tells you. It's a little bit funky, but
it is a bit funky, yeah, and it's got a different sort of grainy texture. You can also do it with sweet potato. You can do sweet potato crust pizza.
Wow.
So that's or broccoli. I saw one that was like broccoli and potato. That I just saw the idea of like broccoli as a base, and I'm like, okay, let me try something and make it my own. Until putting maybe a Greek ingredient or something, halloumi. I don't know. I like to implement a lot of local Cypriot products into things as well, into dishes that you wouldn't expect. That like it could be a traditional English dish, but I'll add a Cypriot element to it, or vice versa. If it's a Cypriot dish, I'll add an international element to it. So I like to create different ideas like that.
So how's the recipes writing go? You test a lot of things in the kitchen. So for the cauliflower pizza, did you buy like 5 kilos of cauliflower and then
yeah,
tried it out?
Actually, yeah, no, it's test and trial. I won't just do it once. I do it quite a few times until I find the right, texture that I want and the flavor. Because believe me, it takes a lot of failures, failed pizzas to get to the right one. And yeah, so the way it works is I'll come up. I'll think of sort of the main ingredient that I want to work with. So in this case, it was the cauliflower. And then I'll buy the ingredients as to create it, and then I'll sort of work with what I have at home as well. And I've got a notepad. I'm writing down notes and seeing like one pizza that I put in could be like I've missed it off the mark. It's overcooked. So I'm just sitting there testing and trying like with the time so I can get the best time for it. And yeah, and then I basically, so I don't know if you've seen my recipes, there's always like a little commentary maybe at the bottom, like I'll add like tips. So it's like my own personal tips. And yeah, but that's why people, when they say to me, can you do a recipe for so and so, it's not easy. It's not something I'll just type up. It takes a while for me to if it's something that I'm doing new from scratch, it takes a while for me to sort of create the method and the instructions and the ingredients just to get everything right.
So the recipe that we can see on your website is tested by you, and it's the recipe that worked.
Yeah, of course. No, I don't. I just let everyone else eat and just. No, of course. Everything I've done there is all the photos are mine. I don't think I'm that great of a photographer, but I just use my phone and yeah, it works. So that's why some photos are not that great. I mean, I haven't gone to get like any professional photographer get the photos done.
Oh, they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
They make you want to eat that stuff.
Okay, okay, good.
Just watching the banana bread and speaking to it.
The banana bread. Actually,
how is it gluten free?
Well, I use gluten-free flour. And I use a bit of almond flour as well. Almond flour is naturally gluten-free. But yeah, I've tested and tried. I actually did that a few days ago, and it was I added some dark chocolate chips, so it became really like banana with chocolate, and that's why everyone wants to be at my house today, because I said that I'm going to make banana bread. So yeah, no, that's a hit actually. I've had some people come up to me and say, you should sell those bad boys, or do them into muffins, or to even sell them at cafes.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. As you can see, like a lot of things, like for now, it had been a hobby, everything that I've been doing, because I have a full-time job. as a lawyer. I'm a lawyer, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. So this has been like a hobby for me, but it's starting to branch out into something else, and being able to collaborate with some people. And so that's been quite a lot of fun. I mean, things have been a little difficult, I would say. I think COVID made things difficult for everyone. But I launched the website as soon as we did the first lockdown in March 2020. That's when I launched, and it was good timing because that's when everyone was on their phone and on, at home.
Of course. That's the good thing that happened with the businesses went online, and everyone was online. It's boomed.
Well, the delivery services just went boomed, and now I don't even remember using Foodie. I don't even remember Dora. It's all Foodie.
Okay. So what's cooking for you? 'Cause your daytime job is a lawyer. You come home and you cook every day?
Most days, yeah. There are days when I'll order. And I order from Donanzin, okay?
Wow.
I love her Mexican food, and she knows it. I was craving it throughout my pregnancy, and so that's a shout out to Christina.
Christina from Donanzin is episode number 53. It's also in English, and you can watch it if you want. Best Mexican food in town. I don't know.
Best Mexican food. That's what I think. I love how authentic her food is. I won't get into the other craps that we have. This is restaurants in Ayanaba, but I want to go. Yeah. That's all we had.
No negativity, there. No negativity.
I'm joking. I'm just. But look, when I had her tacos, when she told me they were naturally gluten-free because she makes them with corn flour. She uses not corn flour. She uses corn to make the corn tortillas. And I love the authenticity, and even the place, like when you go to the restaurant, you feel it. And she's just a vibrant person, and I love supporting people that they have a passion for what they do. And I am good in getting the word out because I do spread the word, and I'm good at the networking. And if I like something, I'll post about it, and I'll rave about it to people. And so yeah.
What I told Christina is that I was never a fan of Mexican food. It wasn't my
really
experience. No, until I tasted hers, because my only experience was the Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. Cheese and black beans, no, that's not for me.
No. We tried her mole. We tried
everything. We tried everything from day one. We were supporters from day one. Me and my wife.
Bravo. Nice.
Nah. You mentioned Donanzin, and it's one way that I came through your Instagram profile is from a story that you went there and you had food there. So I was like, okay, who is this girl taking pictures and going to restaurants? And I'm like, oh, nice profile. And then I went through your webpage. Would you care to talk about the experience of going into restaurants and writing all these articles about them and taking pictures? And is there what kind of feedback do you get? Not from the people reading your articles, but from the owners, the restaurant owners?
There's a lot more authenticity, and I do go into the detail as to why I enjoy a place. And I really, for me, it's when I hear a restaurant owner come up to me and I've told them I'm going to write a review, and he hasn't paid me for it. Like, I didn't ask for it. He didn't come to me and say, please, can you? And just when I'll go up and say, the food is fantastic, I will write about this. And you see that they're genuinely like so happy, and they just want to, make sure that everything's okay. But I don't know, just it makes me feel so good to do something like that, because you do shed some sort of light onto these places, and businesses, big or small, we're all trying to make it happen, and we're all trying to do well in what we do. And I enjoy the whole experience with, just I get so excited with a really good dish. Like some girls love shopping. I love to go to nice restaurants. And when I say nice restaurants, I don't mean just fine dining. I do love to go to the tavernes and, finding all these, like, I've got a list of places that I want to go to when things get better with COVID, of course. And I get very, very happy feedback from these places. They actually call me, or they'll, email me, and they say, we really loved the article that you did, and can we share it on our platforms? And I'm always telling them, like, please go ahead, share it. Like, I have a passion for cooking and food in general, but I also have a passion for writing. I always loved writing. So it's a win-win. Everyone's happy. So. And for me, I just get out of it is just the satisfaction of doing something that I love to do.
I think it's also, if you tell someone that you're doing something good and he's trying really hard to make people like it, it's a good thing. Why when you take it? It's a pleasure. It's something that is wanted. People to come and say, yeah, it's a good food. You made a good work here, man. So
yeah, exactly. But I always like, if I really like something, I will always tell them. I don't just say, okay, thanks, bye. I'll always call, like, can I speak to the chef and I'll praise them and say this was really good, like, and a lot of times, like, I get chefs who, like, will add me on Instagram, and they want to talk and discuss about food, which is great. Actually, a great experience we had, which it wasn't even, just to show you how I didn't plan this, but like when we went to, we had to cancel our honeymoon plans because of COVID when we got married. So we did like a 4-night stay at Amara Hotel in Limassol.
I've never been there.
It's a nice hotel. We said we'll do a mini moon, and mini moon, yeah. And I knew that there were nice restaurants there that I wanted to try. And I remember just because one of the I didn't even realize one of the managers, I don't know how it came through, but they saw my post, one of my posts that I did about the food and how I wrote about it, that every day from the next day onwards, every restaurant, they would call me and say, which restaurant are you going to go to tonight? And I'd be like, I'm going to this restaurant. Like, okay. And then every night I would see the manager it was always basically coming to where we were to make sure that we're having a good time, but not just to make sure we were having. He wanted to know my feedback, and he was like, I want your honest opinion. If you don't like something, vemo. And it's funny, it wasn't intentional. I wasn't aiming to go and work, or I don't see it as work, but I didn't even, it's not something that I planned. And I ended up writing a couple of reviews while I was there. Because I don't just have the Instagram platform where I can just take some photos and post it, but I actually took the time and I wrote the articles on my website recommending the restaurants and explaining about my experience, and they were really, really humbly grateful, and they asked me for, like, it was a win-win situation, in the fact that they were really happy. I was really happy to be able to do that for them, and it was a great experience. So,
yeah. Did you get any free food?
I did get some free dishes. I told you it's a win-win.
It's only win-win if you get free food.
Exactly. No, but even if there wasn't any free food, I enjoyed the whole thing. It was a great experience. And just the people coming up to me afterwards, asking me questions and this chef coming out and wanting to speak to me and just share ideas about food. And, you know, they even brought to us dishes that were not even on the menu yet, and they were new. And he just wanted to ask my opinion. And I was really just very touched, and, you know, that they wanted my opinion on this. So, yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. And this is what it's like when I go to, it might not just be a restaurant. It could be a little cafe. It could be a little shop that yeah.
How do you feel that people want your opinion about this? Like, you're not a chef.
I'm not a chef.
You're a part-time chef.
How do I feel? I feel
it's someone that is a professional in what he's doing, probably knows what he's doing, and then he has you.
Trust me, I have the same look on my face. I'm like, why are you coming to me? I guess even when I talk about food, you could just tell that I love food and I love creating, and it's.
I have a chef friend. Friend that is he studied in France, I think, and then in Italy, and he worked there too, and he works in Nicosia now, and he always makes food, and he's like, okay, did you like this one? Did you like that one? And I'm like, dude, you have all these studies and all this experience, and you worked in cuisines and in very tough environments that you had to do your best, and you're asking me, how do I know? I ate souvlaki last night and fajit today. What do you expect me to say? What kind of criticism would you take from me if I say it's salty? It's not that salty, or is it?
But you want an honest opinion, yeah. But that's the thing. That's your audience. I think that's why he wants to know. The people that are going to come to the restaurant aren't all like chefs. You know, you got people who they don't cook and they don't. It's good you should be humble and just ask anyone's opinion. That's my approach in things.
Have you seen these cooking shows? Have you seen the cooking shows, MasterChef and Gordon Ramsay and Kitchen Nightmares and everything?
I've watched some of them. You know, of course, you know, they're so extreme, you know, because they're on TV. Everything's so much more extreme.
They have to. It's a show.
Sorry?
They have to. It's a show. It's a show.
Yeah, exactly. They need the drama. There's drama in my kitchen as well. But it's more about me swearing at myself. Like, why didn't I do this? I started my own reality TV in this kitchen.
What's your flavors? What do you like? Would you say you're more of a Mediterranean flavors kind of person, or is it ethnic cuisine?
My favorite cuisine is Cypriot. Come on. Like, I can't live without my macaroni de forno, cubebia. No, I do like, but I love Italian food. I love Italian food. And we went to Florence a few years ago with my husband, and we drank my dream was to drink my way through Tuscany, and we did. We were literally, it was great. We just ate and drank. 5 days, we put 5 kilos, 1 kilo a day, but it was great. But I love Italian food, but I also love Asian food. I do love Asian food, and I love experimenting in that area as well, because they use a lot of rice noodles, and it's not necessarily, you know, there's a lot of dishes that are naturally gluten-free, and they don't really use a lot of heavy carbs. And
the Italian cuisine would pose it's a challenge for you, because so much gluten in there. It's pasta and pizza.
But that's the thing. That is, you know, it's funny. For many years, I avoided going to Italy because I thought it would be a gluten fest and I wouldn't have a nice time. And when I was researching, and I feel like an idiot for leaving it so long. I wish I had discovered this sooner, but I didn't realize that there were so many places in Italy where a lot of restaurants that they have a designated kitchen for just gluten-free stuff, and they make homemade gluten-free pasta. And I had no idea that half of Italians, like half of Italy, is like celiac. So I was when I met them, and I had no idea. And the more I read about it, I was like, wow, they have so many options. So every place we went to, I found, oh my God, I found pastas. I had pizzas, gluten-free with burrata. I had, yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, there was not a place that we went to where I couldn't eat something that I wanted to eat. You know, there was always options for me, and pastas and pizza, and I was so amazed. I even found bakeries.
Wow, in Italy. Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was astonished. And one of the things a good friend of mine suggested that I do on any trip that I go to. He's also a chef. He said, whenever you go on a trip, always book a street food tour. So that way, you kill two birds with one stone. You get a culinary tour of the city, but also you get to see the city and walk around. But at the same time, you get to try different flavors from different places and learn the history. So I did that in Poland when I went a few years ago with some friends for a wedding, and it was fantastic. But when we went to Italy, I booked a street food tour, and I told them in advance that I'm gluten intolerant. So I didn't have to ask them. They just, when we all met up there, we were just 8 other couples, and the woman just said, who's gluten free? And I put my hand up, and she was like, okay, I just wanted to know. And everywhere, like, we started with we went to a cafe with an espresso. You know, they were teaching us how to do espresso. The next stop was like pizzas or truffles and wine shops. It was fantastic. And I really recommend that. Anyone who goes abroad, just book a street food tour, because you'll get a great experience and you'll learn so much about the history of the city. On foot tour, and at the same time you get to eat your way through the city, which is great.
You taste everything. Saves for last your connection with Cypriot food. Now we're talking in English. So are you Cypriot?
You make it. Yes, I am Cypriot.
So you said you were born, your family was in England, so were you also in the UK? You were born in the UK?
Yeah, I was born in the UK. So my mom is a BBC. She's a British-born Cypriot. So both. Sorry.
So growing up, you had Cypriot cuisine only at your house? Did you go also in Cypriot restaurants?
You mean in Cyprus when I lived?
No, I mean in the UK.
Oh, no, mixture. I think it's my mom who influenced me the most, because she always, growing up, she always sort of, introduced us to different flavors. And it was never just Cypriot food. So, yeah, and we always, I mean, of course, the Cypriot food was the main food that we would, main cuisine that we would eat, because she would do all the traditional foods. But we grew up, eating. I remember just as a teenager, my mom would do chili con carne. She did Mexican food. She does Indian food really nice. Even like the traditional English pies, like she'll do from scratch, and Chinese night. So we were always sort of, exposed, I think is the right word, to different cuisines growing up. And I think that kind of gave me the introduction to that was my introduction to my journey, basically, of exploring flavors. And it's my way of trying to explore more and just try and expand and find out new things that I can do.
Can you explore Cypriot cuisine? Is there something you can change in there? Is it something? Is it evolving? Can it evolve?
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, one place that I will emphasize that I absolutely love, and I think they are the epitome, and they are the example of taking it to the next level, is το Πατρικό, if you've been.
No, I've heard of it, but I've never been there.
It's a great restaurant.
You mean in Larnaca?
Larnaca, that's it. Ne.
Yeah, I've been there.
Stefano, I can't remember where. The food there is, I just love that it's Cypriot food, but with a twist, you know, like deconstructed gubepia, you know, or stuff that you wouldn't even think of. It's fantastic. And or drahano kefteres, bramada dobia, you know, your mind just goes, you know, because we're so, if you learned the traditional way, you know, it's amazing once you just sort of break it down and say, forget the traditions, and, you know, and just use sort of different, use the traditional ingredients, but to create something new.
So it's not only the ingredients, but also the technique of making things.
Yeah, it's the technique. So I love how he'll do dishes where it's like, on one plate you have 5 ways, using 5 different techniques. He's showing off a certain ingredient, and I think that's really cool. You know, one could be as a foam. You know, I've seen this. I think there's a restaurant in either Italy, where like it's like the main dish is pecorino or romano, or it's parmigiano, and the whole dish is like 5 ways of how he's using it. So he breaks it down using different techniques, and I think it's amazing with one ingredient, you know, how you can sort of break it down. Because I think in Cyprus, you know, up until now we've been, you know, we were taught, you know, I don't think a lot of people know how to use drahana in any way different than it is in a soup, drahana. So that's
I went to Greece to realize that what they meant drahana is that they prepare it with tomatoes. It's a soup,
wow!
But
Nice.
I think it's a tomato soup.
With drahana, that kind of makes sense. That's I can picture that the texture with the tomato.
Of course, they haven't tasted trajana with halloumi, and that would blew their brains out. Can you do something with kolokasi? Kolokasi is my favorite food. My favorite Cypriot
really?
food.
Oh my God, yeah. It's funny you said that, because my mom literally 5 seconds before you called me, she just sent me a photo. Because see, that's how my mom is. She won't say hi, how are you? She sends me photos of what she's going to cook, you know. And so she showed me like a bag full of kolokasi. So she's prepping that for the weekend. That's it. My mom does it the traditional way, but she might also do the kapama as well.
I've recently learned what kapama means. Kapama means something that is closed in a pot. It's cooked closed in a pot. Did you know that?
I actually didn't know that, but thank you. We just eat it. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, you gave me an idea to maybe work with the kolokasi and try and do something. You know, you could do, like, not in the traditional sense, but maybe you could do the texture of it is, maybe you could do some sort of mash with it. Maybe.
I do chips. I also do chips.
Do chips, yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. Yeah. You can have it and you say, oh, what's this? And it's amazing. So are you going to look into also recipes, Cypriot recipes, but use them in a different way? Your main aim is doing them gluten-free, but deconstructing them, because when you go to a restaurant like Patrigon and you You taste the stuff there. Okay, you say, oh, it's amazing how she used this and deconstructed kubepkia, and I can't remember what else, but your second thought is, I can't make this in my house.
You can.
This is too much. I need something easier.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that, because I'm in February now. I'm part of an initiative that was started in Australia by Cypriot foodies in Australia, and it's called it's fabulous Cypriot food. So for fabulous for February, and each week we are showcasing different ingredients. It's to showcase Cypriot food and different types of using different Cypriot traditional ingredients to create different recipes. So the next week is the first week that we start this sort of initiative to kind of promote Cypriot food more on social media, and spread the word and create recipes using traditional ingredients. And the first week is using creating dishes using either halloumi, mint, cinnamon, coriander, and lemon. Not all together. You could mix them. No, you could mix them, but those are the 5 main ingredients. So, it's, of course, I've made like halloumodi gluten-free, but I want to try and create something more unique with these ingredients and see what I could do. So this is something, it's funny you mentioned it, because this is something that we're trying to do, and this is an exciting.
And it's what I said, the chef's version of something, you can see it and you say, okay, this is very good, but I cannot do it in my house. But someone who's a foodie, and he can transfer that kind of food to a kitchen that you can make in 20 minutes for 3 or 5 for your family. And that changes things. That puts that kind of dish into people's kitchens, and Cypriot cuisine evolves out of it. You take the restaurant version and you make it the home version of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I saw this dish.
It's like banana bread.
It's like banana bread. The prep of the banana bread literally takes me 10 minutes. And I just throw it in the oven and it's done. But like you said, like one dish that comes to mind, it's not Cypriot, but one dish that comes to mind that I see at restaurants and people go, oh, and I've heard friends say, oh, but and I want to do it at home. Is like a cauliflower steak with like a sauce. And I'm like, it's so easy, So a lot of people might think that, it looks so, you could simplify it a bit more and make these dishes at home. And that's part of another initiative that I'm working on, which is basically it's focused for it's focused for any mother or anyone really, but my main focus is on like mothers who have a busy work lifestyle and they don't have a lot of time to prepare meals, and try to create easy meals within less than half an hour and have like dinner ready. So this is something else that I'm trying to sort of come up with and create dishes. I mean, the focus has been more on not just Cypriot and more of a like international approach, but I like the idea of using Cypriot elements to create these dishes. So that's something definitely that's on my agenda very soon for my platform.
Mm-hmm. Another thing about Cypriot food is that even the same recipes that you can find in the Greek cuisine or in the Middle East, that's more or less the same, they don't taste the same. Like koftedes with potatoes. When you find them in Greece, I was amazed. This is not koftedes. This is something else.
It's something else. They use different meats. Maybe also the different types.
No, it's only meat. It's all meat. We make keftedes with potatoes. You peel them. You say trifos.
You grate it. Yeah.
And you put it in the recipe, and then That's the traditional kofte that we make.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the Greeks they didn't know. Also the how do you say ladera, the yahni?
Oily. Okay. Like a tomato base.
Tomato-based foods in here taste different than in Greece. The Greeks are more tomatoey, more and less oily. But here it's more oil and less tomato. I think so. That's how my mom makes them.
Or well, maybe it's your mom. I'm just kidding.
I love them.
Oh. No, I think maybe it's more, not more. I've noticed some dishes in Greece are the more thick the sauce, and here it might be more runnier, so it's like with more water or like you said, stock. Either way, I like both the Greek and Cypriot. I like both cuisines, but I have to say, like for me, Cypriot is untouchable.
So, Evyenia, we've come to the end of our episode. I want you to tell us, because you said a few times before that you had some future plans. Can you round up them all? So where is it going? You're going to see more updates on the website? Are we going to see your Instagram page changing? Is there new plans going in, collaborations?
Yeah, I mean, I see myself, like I said, it started off as a hobby, and, who knows how it will develop. But there are some things that I'm going to start doing on the side, some collaboration. I can't go into a lot of detail on the collaborations yet. But you're definitely going to see some changes on the website. So new things, new categories. That's the great thing with the website, is that you can just, if you own the website, you can do whatever you want with it and expand however you want. So yeah, I've got some collaborations coming up there. Like I said, the other initiative for Cyprus, so promoting a lot of Cypriot products and sort of exploring different recipes there. So you'll definitely be seeing more recipes going up. I see it moving towards, I don't know the pace that it's moving at. I mean, I think it depends on a lot of things. I mean, I'm trying to find a balance right now with, going back to work as well from maternity leave, and also with the baby. So my pace is, of course, is not as, fast motion as it used to be, but I'm definitely more hungry to do more things. And I want to see how far I can go before breaking down. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm a person who I work better under pressure. So definitely you'll see a lot of new things coming up very soon on the website. And I'm really excited. And when we start traveling again, I intend to sort of travel and, have a travel part on the website as well. As you can see, I have New York and I have Boston.
Yeah, you do.
Started doing Italy, but I'm going to, so that's my next step, with travel. I think that's the part that went on pause, was the travel part. So that's something that's gonna start as well. So there's a lot of new changes that are happening on both platforms, the Instagram, and maybe I'm thinking of creating a Facebook page because I think I get a lot of people asking me for things on Facebook, so it might be a good way to sort of sync them all and expand more.
Yeah, more platforms. From my own personal experience, more platform requires more work.
More work, no?
Yeah. So, Evyenia, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you manage to stay up to this point, I can tell you that there are more episodes on my YouTube channel, on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Podcasts. Some of them are in English. Most of them are in Greek.
That's fine.
So
I look forward to watching them. I started watching some, so yeah. I've got to continue.
Go on, please go on. And I am expecting some feedback from you.
Really? I'll give you feedback.
So, for anyone listening, this was Idiaiteros Tipos number 55. Thank you all. To the next one. Ciao.
Ciao. Thanks.